Hello, my name is Rafael Seiz Ortiz from the Department of Applied Linguistics, and in this English grammar session we will see the use of narrative tenses in the past together with the related expression used to. We'll see the typical narrative tenses such as past simple, past continuous, past perfect simple, past perfect continuous, and finally we will see the uses of the expression used to compared with would. The objectives are to know what verb tenses are used for narrative purposes. That means when we are narrating or describing acts and events in the past. And also to know how to use these tenses and the related expression used to for past habits. Let's start with the past simple. We use this tense of the verb to talk about an event or sequence of events or actions in the past. The past time of the reference may be stated, or sometimes it can be clear only from the context. In this case, the exact time in the past is referred to. We can see this example. 10 years ago, the exact time. 10 years ago, the company started its operation in Asia. I opened a small office in China and hired 5 staff. We can see here the use of past simple past. We also have the past continuous. In this case, we use it to talk about activities or states describing the background of past actions, or you can use it as well to talk about activities or situations that were in progress when another action took place. In progress because it's a continuous tense. An example of the first use would be, my business was going well, which made me happy. And an example of the second use would be, the demand for cheap materials was growing when we started this project. Here we have the differences between the two uses of the past continuous. Another typical verb tense that we use in narratives is the past perfect simple. We use this form of the verb to talk about actions that took place at an earlier time than the main event in a narrative. And we use it especially or particularly when these two events are not related in the sequence that they happened. We can see it in this example. I arrived at the factory and remembered that I had left my phone in the office. The action of arriving at the factory and remembering this is after the action of leaving the phone in the office. This is marked by the use of the past perfect simple. It is actually a past of a past. Then we also have a past perfect continuous verb form. And we use this to talk about an activity or a state in progress before the main event took place. Again, as it is a continuous verb tense, it refers to an action in progress. We can see it in the example. The engineers of the company had been working on this new design for 2 years before they decided to put it in the market. Again, we have an action in progress, which is a past of a past. Now we're going to have a look at 2 expressions that are normally related to narratives. That means when we actually express actions, activities, and events in the past. Used to and would. They are similar, but they have differences as well. Similar uses and different uses. We use the expression used to plus infinitive to talk about habits and states that took place in the past, but they do not happen or exist now, at present. We also use the past simple here to talk about past habits and states, with the same meaning as used to plus infinitive. It is important not to confuse the expression used to plus infinitive with another different expression with the verb to be used to. When we use be used to, the meaning is present familiarity with something. For example, it took me some time, but I am used to traffic jams. This is not related to past habits at all. It's important not to confuse them. We can see this use in the two examples. When I started the company, I used to do everything on my own, but now I have 10 staff. Or there used to be technical problems with this type of engine, but now it works very well. It's something that was true in the past, but it's not true anymore in the present. We use would plus infinity, on the other hand, to talk about habits that took place in the past but do not happen now. In this case, it's similar to used to. But let's remember that we do not use this expression to talk about past states, only about past habits. We can see it in examples. When I started the company, I would do everything on my own, but now I have 10 staff. We have, in this case, we can also use used to. But when we are talking about past states, we cannot use would do, as in the second example. There used to be computer problems with this model, so we decided to change the provider. In this case, it is not possible to use would be. As a conclusion, in a narrative context, that means when we refer to action, events, activities, and states in the past, which is actually a very common function in the English language, certain verb tenses and expressions are common. We have seen them in this presentation. And it is important to choose the right tense in narratives. And the expressions, as we can see, the expressions used to and would and be used to should not be confused. I hope you found this presentation useful to express actions and activities in the past. Thank you very much for your attention.